Top 10 SSS-rated dungeon manhwa recommendations you must read in 2024. If you're anything like me, you can't get enough of those high-stakes SSS-rated manhwas where the main character plunges headfirst into the unknown. Well, buckle up, because I've got 10 brand new dungeon crawler stories that are gonna take you on the ride of a lifetime. From daring heroes to ancient artifacts, these manhwas are packed with action, adventure, and more twists and turns than you can count. So, grab your gears, sharpen your blades, and get ready to discover your next obsession. It's time for some SSS-rated dungeon manhwa recommendations you must read in 2024. Starting off with our number 10, the dungeon cleaning life of a once genius hunter. Juno Kim, the world's first SSS ranked genius hunter. This guy was at the top of his game, an incredible user of abilities. But let me tell you, his personality, not so hot. Turns out that led to some big-time problems with his reputations. Well, one day Juno gets ambushed and killed by some mystery group. But when he opens his eyes, he's traveled back in time 10 years. Now, he's gonna try and become a hunter again, but his skills are all sealed up. The only way to unlock them by becoming a dungeon cleaner. Oh, and he's got a little deadline. He's gotta become the president of the World's Hunter Association within 5 years or he's gone for good. This manhwa has got it all. Drama, a bit of action, and a seriously determined protagonist who is not afraid to get his hands dirty. It's a recipe for some serious entertainment. If you're a fan of dungeon-related stories, then the dungeon cleaning life of a once genius hunter is definitely one to add to your reading list. Number 9. Conquering Dungeons with Copy-Paste. Sano Haruto, a low-ranking adventurer who has always been treated like an errant boy. Why, you ask? Well, he's got this core skill called copy-paste, and let me tell you, it made leveling up next to impossible. Poor guy even got kicked out of the hunter guild he belonged to. Haruto accidentally discovers that his useless skill is actually the best and maybe even the strongest one out there. With this power, he's aiming to save the world from a major disaster and become the top hunter. Now, this manhwa has got some seriously intense fighting scenes, so if you are a fan of that kind of thing, then you are in for a real treat. And get this, the protagonist is a necromancer user, a real plus in my book. The story is solid, the art is great, the characters are just plain compelling. So if you're looking for an adventure tale with a twist, then Conquering Dungeons with Copy-Paste is definitely one to check out. Number 8. Climbing a tower which even regressors couldn't conquer. Imagine your girlfriend suddenly starts saying the most awkward things like, "Shuhyok, I have regressed." Regressed? What does that even mean? Well, apparently she's traveled back in time and she needs Soo-hyuk to be the only hope for humanity. But our protagonist Soo-hyuk, he's not phased. Regressor, tower, trials, oof, who cares? This guy has got one mission, and that's to conquer this so-called tower no matter what it takes. I'm talking sheer determination, grit, and a whole lot of skill. Now, this manhwa has got some intense action and thrilling challenges, so if you're a fan of that kind of thing, then you are in for a real treat. The story is super engaging, the art is top-notch, and the characters are just plain compelling. If you're looking for a manhwa dungeon vibe, then Climbing a Tower, which even regressors couldn't conquer, is definitely one to add to your reading list. Number 7. Monster Eater Adventurer. Rude, an E-rank adventurer who has just got one skill to his name, debuff immunity. Doesn't sound too impressive, right? Well, the only thing this skill is good for is helping Rude gather herbs in miasma-filled dungeons. Yup, he's basically the miasma scavenger of the group, getting ridiculed left and right by his fellow adventurers. But Rude is not about to let that get him down. Nope, he's determined to challenge a new dungeon and clear his name. But then disaster strikes. He gets betrayed by his own teammate. Out of items and on the verge of death, Rude resorts to the unthinkable. He eats monster meat, which is a total taboo. And let me tell you, that's when things really start to get interesting. This manhwa has got it all. A lovable underdog protagonist, unexpected twists and turns, and a whole lot of monster-eating action. The story is super engaging, the art is top-notch, and the characters are just plain compelling. If you're looking for a manhwa that will keep you entertained from start to finish, then Monster Eater Adventurer is definitely one to add to your reading list. Number 6. Subscribe to the Transcendental channels. Mayang Siwo, A guy who's living by selling information about monsters. Sound pretty useful, right? Well, the problem is he's considered completely useless in the hunter industry without any standard qualities. But get this, Siwoo's got a sick younger sibling to take care of and he's fighting to provide for them. One day, Siwoo's luck takes a turn for the better when he's gifted a mysterious smartphone by a Transcendent being inside a dungeon. Turns out, he has been appointed as the channel manager for these powerful beings, and when he subscribes to their channel, he unlocks the ability to wield the powers of the god themselves. This manhwa's got the unique premise that will really hook you in, folks. The story is super engaging, the art is top-notch, and the characters are just plain compelling. If you're looking for a manhwa that will take you on a wild ride with some serious power-ups, then subscribe to the Transcendental channels is definitely one to add to your reading list. Moving on to our number 5. Act Like a Boss Monster, Mr. Swallow. The Primordial Core is an unconquerable dungeon home to the most powerful monsters ever, Swallow. But get this, Swallow's actually a lazy boss monster who just wants to sleep all day. Taking care of this sleepy boss is Renee, a homunculus maid who is downright obsessed with Swallow, and the only one keeping the dungeon running is Patrick, a skeleton who might be the last brain cell of the bunch. I am telling you, the contrast between these characters is just pure comedy gold. Now, this manhwa has got a greater sense of humor with the story and character development really shining through. The art's got a classic feel to it, and the overall OP-ness of the main character is just plain fun to read. If you are in the mood for a manhwa that will make you laugh whilst still delivering an engaging plot, then Act Like a Boss Monster, Mr. Swallow is definitely one to check out. Number 4. Legendary Rankers Come Back. Imagine you are just a regular university graduate minding your own business when suddenly the dungeon apocalypse game Dreamside turns into reality. Our protagonist used to be the number 1 ranker in that very same game, so when he finds himself stuck in an elevator with a monster, he absolutely obliterates the tutorial like the elite player he is. Talk about a power move. Now, while the story development in this manhwa might jump around a bit, the art is absolutely phenomenal. We are talking stunning monsters and weapon designs that are just a joy to look at, and even though the characters might be a bit average, it's still a great read if you are looking to just kick back and enjoy some high quality visuals. If you're a fan of isekai style manhwa genres, then Legendary Rankers Come Back is definitely one to add to your reading list. Number 3. The Advanced Player of the Tutorial Tower. Imagine getting trapped in a tower full of regenerating monsters for 12 years. That's the fate that befell our protagonist Hyunwoo Kim. But let me tell you, after all that time, he's now more powerful than just about any human or monster on Earth. See, this tower is a place where random people get transported and forced to learn how to become hunters with special abilities. Only 20% of those who go in actually make it out alive. But Hyunwoo, he's a whole different breed. After 1,350 runs through the tower, he's maxed out every single skill except for magic. So now that he's finally free, Hyunwoo is determined to find out who was behind his imprisonment, and he's not gonna let a few hordes of monsters stand in his way. In fact, he might just end up saving the whole world in the process. This manhwa has got it all, the classic isekai dungeon adventure tropes, but with a superpower protagonist that will have you hooked from the start to finish. The art is solid, the story is engaging, and Hyunwoo's personality, well, let's just say he's been through a lot. So, if you're looking for an action-packed manhwa with an OP main character, then the Advanced Player of the Tutorial Tower is definitely one to check out. Number 2. Hoarding in Hell. Hyunwoo Kang, a miner just trying to make ends meet in a world where the real money is being a hunter and exploring those fancy dungeons. But one day, Hyunwoo's life takes a wild turn when he inherits a mysterious heartstone that transports him straight to a place called Hell. Now, you would think that would just be the end of the story, but not for our boy Hyunwoo. Nope, he just regenerates after dying and starts honing his skills and hoarding items in this crazy hell dimension. And get this, the more time he spends in hell, the more he starts to wonder about the connection between this place and his own world. This manhwa has got a fresh take on the classic dungeon crawling genre, with a protagonist who can actually travel between the present and a future where the world's been destroyed. The art is super pleasing to the eyes, the story is just downright engaging. If you're looking for a manhwa that will keep you guessing and on the edge of a seat, then Hoarding in Hell is definitely one to add to your reading list. And number 1. Solo Leveling Ragnarok. Now this one is a continuation of the legendary Solo Leveling series, and let me tell you, it's picking up right where the original left off. we have got the absolute ones, the creatures of the many universes outside our own, frantically trying to fill the power void left by one of their own. And you know what that means? More gates opening up, spilling monsters into our dimension. But fear not, because Sung Suho is back and ready to answer the call. He's gotta conquer the Shadow Dungeon and learn about his father's legendary legacy if he's gonna save the world this time around. The art is as stunning as ever, and the story is moving at a breakneck pace. We are talking power scaling that's off the charts, with Suho teaming up with the descendants of the monarch to get strong enough to take on those outer god invaders. If you're a fan of the original solo leveling, or you just love a good dungeon crawling, monster slaying manhwa, then Solo Leveling Ragnarok is an absolute must-read. Wow, what a lineup, huh? From high-stakes dungeon to legendary treasures, these manhwas have it all. If you enjoyed this countdown and want to see more top-tier anime and manhwa content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be back soon with even more recommendations and in-depth reviews that you won't want to miss. Until then, keep reading, keep exploring, and stay curious, my fellow dungeon divers. I will see you guys next time. Peace out.